Dr. Chad Welding.
Did you say
There.
welding or Walding, man?
Oh,
Walding.
yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah,
I
yeah.
did say welding, didn't I?
Maybe. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, it gets confused a lot, so I'll go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'm watching you doing all your workouts and like you look like a big dude like who's got biker tattoos and doing welding on his Harley. Maybe that's where it came from. Imagination.
Maybe. All good.
And yo, man, it is so good to have you on. You know, this whole series is about empowerment. It's all about
Mm.
empowering perspectives. It's giving people empowering tools to utilize in this interesting time in our lives where there is quite a bit of scare, of fear, of disempowerment, um, and and taking it back with what is in your control. And thank you for doing workouts daily and really all of your work. So let me back up and introduce Dr. Walding here. Dr. Walding is a doctor of physical therapy, and he started a company called NativePath. And NativePath is helping people take responsibility for their own health, to empower themselves to be in the driver's seat of their own health, and to do natural things that are evolutionarily based in order to restore health and to just live an awesome life.
Keep going, Kev. That's great, man. Sounds awesome.
So far, am I doing okay?
I think you're doing great. Yeah, we got you enrolled. That's good.
You're good, man. Yeah, so we're absolutely aligned in so many ways, and I met Chad. I don't know, about a year ago, at a ceremonious event, and we've been in close contact, and I respect your work enormously, and I'm so excited for you to share some tools with our audience.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm super excited to be here and happy to share whatever you want to talk about.
Nice. So first off, did I miss anything in your intro that you'd like to hit on?
I mean, that's the main thing. A lot of my view on health comes from kind of two things, right? So one of it is working in the conventional healthcare model and working in hospitals, acute care settings, neurological settings, outpatient settings, and home health settings, and then really studying ancestral health and how our ancestors ate, how they moved, and how they lived, and really blending ancestral wisdom with modern science to come up with like this awesome kind of next step that I really I see as a vision, like where we're going, living in harmony with our biology, the way we eat, the way we move, the way we live, and living in harmony with ourselves, with each other, and the earth around us. And what's happening in the world right now is like an amazing opportunity for us to all kind of move closer to that, right? So one of the things you mentioned earlier was perspective. You know, perspective is huge, and with all this happening, there's this like huge spectrum of perspective on how we can be looking at the situation, right? So some people could look at it as like the sky is falling, the world's coming to an end, this is the apocalypse, zombies are coming, we're gonna lose everything, oh gosh, oh gosh. Or it's like, la la la, a new world is coming, everything is wonderful, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me, I feel no fear whatsoever. And like all of that is like okay, and it's understandable why we would fear, why we would feel this way and see this over here, and why we'd see this over here, because there's all these different messages out here in this connected world of the internet where we could get taken in by these messages. And there's also different circumstances that people are having. So like I have some friends that had amazing businesses 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden, literally, because these are community oriented businesses where people come and do things face to face and touch each other and meet each other, they have to shut those things down, right? And some of these people have kids, and they're like, what do I do now? Like, am I going to lose my home? So they're feeling a lot of stuff right now, you know. And then there's other people who, you know, I feel extremely fortunate that I have an online business, and I have an online business that offers things to help people with their immune system. So we're not like panicking really. We felt like we're prepared for this. So it's kind of like taking the soil, right? You're churning it and you're moving it around, you're mixing it up. A lot of different things are happening. And in this time right now is like a good time to really, coming back to the empowerment part of what you said, like plant seeds for how we want to be, right? Because it's almost like a sacred rite of passage that all of humanity is going through together. In that way, I kind of think it's a beautiful thing. It's always going to be unfortunate when people are going to have to go through challenges and pain and suffering and lives are going to be lost. But there's also an opportunity to see it in a different way and look at us as individuals, because many of us are just at home quarantining, and how we're going to respond to the situation. So that's where I think how we deal with crisis really shows up a lot. Like things that are underneath the hood gets amplified, in a big way, and all of it's okay, but all of it's beautiful. But it's a great opportunity to start working on ourselves a little bit more and think about what we want to, what our intention is moving forward.
That's beautiful. That's such a good perspective to take when we're talking about the power of perspective. I know that very well, coming from a place where I, woke up from a coma, couldn't eat, walk, or talk. My left hand's totally flexed inward,
Yeah.
breathing through tubes, eating through tubes, and it's like, oh shit, my life's totally over. Everything's hit rock bottom. And I know some people are going through some a similar feeling of like, oh man, everything's changed, and we're at
Mm-hmm.
this place of transition, of bardo, as it's called in Buddhism, which is a space of transition.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a dark space, but in this space of transition is where the magic happens. It's where the growth happens.
Yeah.
And so in that place where I'm like, man, my life's over, the perspective, I decided to change my perspective, or to put my attention rather on a perspective that empowered me, that felt good to me.
Mm.
And that perspective was like, you know what? I'm on this ride either way. I can go on it kicking and screaming if I want to. We can go on this ride. We're on this ride. We are
Yeah.
all on this ride. We can go on it kicking and screaming if we choose to, or we can recognize that this is an adventure. And that's what it is. I'm like, this is an adventure. An adventure
Totally.
sucks sometimes, but it's all part of the story. It's all
Yeah.
the ebb and flow of things, the hills and valleys of all of it. And what happens with an adventure is there's a certainty that things will change. Things will
Mm-hmm.
improve, or maybe they'll get worse before they get better, but they're going to get better. And it's a ride. It's an adventure to experience, rather than this terrifying um, outcome that's looming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's powerful, man. I love that, like, you're sharing that, and you and your personal story of how you dealt with something, and you could have looked at it as like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, oh woe is me, and really been caught into a victim mentality, right? And the way we were brought up, it's very easiest for us to get trapped in a victim mentality, and it results in complaining, and there's nothing I can do about it, and there's a lack of responsibility. And like, what we need now more than ever is like to really everybody step up and accept the things that we cannot change, like these like spiritual tests, like it's really coming up in a big way, and then doing what we can with what we have, and then moving forward, and choosing to really asking ourselves, what kind of experience do we want to have through this? Do we want to like kick and scream and hope someone else takes care of it for us, or do we want to like do the best we can with what we have? It reminds me of gosh, that Italian, what was, no, it was the movie with the Italian actor. He won movie of the year, Life is Beautiful. Life is Beautiful. It was like in 1998 or 99, but he won like movie of the year, Oscar of the year. The story was so beautiful. It was like this father going through the Holocaust with his kid, and he told his kid, like, he really sensed like he doesn't want his kid to like see the reality of what could be the reality of this, and like people are dying, people are having all these challenges. He really made the kid believe this was all one big game, one big adventure, like you said. At the end of the game, you collect points along the way. At the end of the game, if you win, you get to ride off in a big, huge like machine. And all that happened. It was like such a great example of like, taking responsibility for the perspective and how we're choosing to see things. And we think we can't choose, but we most definitely can. We most definitely choose our perspective, you know. And my wife and I've been challenged with this before. You know, she had breast cancer at a young age, and like we look at that same thing as an adventure, you know. And it was we made a decision to choose that was how we were going to respond to it. Because we also knew that choosing it as an adventure and accepting some things puts our body in a state of relaxation and calmness. And we also know that healing and the immune system works better in that way. You know, so the big fear a lot of people are having here, the economy, it's this virus, like two things, like boom, 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 coming in, boom, you know, but choosing to be in a calm state, no matter what is happening externally is like the secret of the universe. You know what I mean?
So it's the secret. It's the secret stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And we can choose. You know, sometimes it's not easy to find the right perspective, like this perspective that feels good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to like go through all sorts of different things, but if you can believe it and like truly believe the perspective and can filter things for that, because here's the other thing, whatever you're looking for, you'll find evidence to support that.
Yep.
And I see this a lot with people debating the statistics of things. It's like millions of people are going to die and all this stuff, and it's like, you know, you will find evidence to support that if that's what you're looking for. It's like when I was in a place where I lost all my ability, or your wife was in a place where she was diagnosed with breast cancer at a young age, like that could mean all sorts of things. And if we look for the evidence of something that we don't want, we're gonna find that. So, you know, careful. There's, I forget who wrote this song, but my mom introduced me to this song, and it goes, "Don't go looking for trouble, because trouble will find you."
Mm.
And it's kind of this idea of our sensory diet and what we give, what we feed our sensorium, our what we get in our news feed, what movies we watch, what TV shows we watch, what news we watch, what statistics we pay attention to, all of that. And I'm not saying like pretend things are all happy and whatever, but I am saying we can, whatever we look for, we'll find evidence to support that.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So what do you want to find evidence to support? Do you want to bring about a scary situation, or do you want to bring about a beautiful life? Life is beautiful. If you want that
Yeah.
narrative, let's bring that about.
Yeah. I think that's like asking the question, like, how do I want to be feeling?
Yeah.
You know, how do I want to be feeling? Because ever since this has started, practically for me, you know, like as I've been going through it, I've been tempted to like watch the news a lot and get on social media a lot. And I noticed like it really just takes my brain, like started thinking a lot. And like I find myself like a habit, like keep grabbing my phone, like be kept up with something. Like, what am I doing? And then I notice I feel a lot of like fear. You know, I mean, I have to be really on. Like I know some people, I never feel fear. I don't feel good for you. I do. You know, I feel it if I get tapped into that stuff too much. So, but I notice it, right? I notice that I feel it. And the key is like asking myself, like, what do I want to be feeling? You know, what do I actually want to feel right now, given that all that's going on? What can I do to put myself in a calm, relaxed state?
Hi,
So
Maya.
sorry. So sorry for the little golden doodle.
That's all right. That's all right. Maya just, she clearly has some important things to
Yeah.
say. She's chiming in with her opinion.
Yeah. She has no idea what's going on outside in the world, you know? And like neither do the birds or the trees or anything. They just keep going along. It's a lot of what's happening is like story. It's a lot of
And
story.
yes, and that's a lot of it is story.
Yeah.
The
Even the market like really is a good sign of like our faith in ourselves, and we're creating a story that it's like when it goes down like this, the economy, it's like a big story that it's all coming to an end. But if everybody had a different story, it would be a different situation,
right,
you
right,
know?
absolutely. And the communal attention, the communal like frequency, it amplifies things. And I'm talking frequency and stuff, and some people might think that's woo and whatever.
So
And the
woo.
fact is, our hearts emit a frequency. Our brains emit a frequency. Our heart's frequency is 10 times the amplitude of our brain's frequency. But
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, we hook up, EEGs to the brain, to see what lobes are firing in different patterns and what frequency they're resonating at. And the same thing with the heart. We absolutely resonate a frequency. And when we are in a climate where there's a huge community all radiating the same fear frequency, it's hard to sit in a place where that's not resonating with you, right? Like
Yeah.
if you take a stereo and blast one tone and you have a pitchfork that's at that tone, it's going to start vibrating too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the trick is to be able to stay calm in the storm, to
Mm-hmm.
find your center in that
Yeah.
in that storm and radiate your own frequency.
Yeah, I call that being firm. Really being firm, or another word people seem to be using all the time now is being sovereign in their own self. But that's really important. And yeah, this is a rite of passage where I think we're all being challenged with that. But I think it's important to first know like what you're talking about. And a lot of people don't quite understand. They don't quite bring that intention or that understanding to what they're consuming every day. So they kind of get taken over by the herd, right? And
Right.
the herd's kind of crazy. The mob kind of makes bad decisions. Um, there's a big energy that gets behind it, and all of a sudden, like it's very easy for us to get taken over by everything, and all of a sudden we're doing things that aren't in alignment with like what we truly desire. you know and I mean, I'm at this all the time, so I always had to come back to these like really simple practices and do it over and over again.
Speaking of simple practices, every day you've been posting really useful stuff for people to find their center, to be firm, to be sovereign, and
Yeah.
super appreciate it. And I think you're doing that in the Native uh, private community, um, which is free to join, right?
Yeah, anybody can join. I mean, you can always just we'll let you in. We're not like terribly picky, but it's an amazing community. I mean, I,
Yes.
I I always laugh. Like I think we have the best place on Facebook. Like it's such a good time in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, it's really powerful what you've created with NativePath, and the service you're providing in there to people. We were doing workouts the other day. I think you've been doing a at home, no weights, no equipment workout. The one I did with you, the only equipment was a chair. Like, you
Yeah.
got a chair, right?
Everybody's got chairs. Today I did one on the floor. Everybody got the floor.
Everybody got a floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So that's super appreciated. You also posted like a super short one of just you chugging a bottle of water, and you're like, boost your immune system, drink water.
Yeah.
Like,
Go get some sun. Move.
right.
Eat good food. I mean, that's one of the things is people are concerned about the virus, and we all should be. And we all should be. I mean, believe me, my wife and I do all the things. We spray stuff outside if it comes to the door. We do all the social distancing. We're pretty,
Mhm.
because of my wife's compromised immune system. But still, like, there's all these like natural things that the mainstream should be talking about, and they're not talking about because the value system of health is not really there. It's always, again, going back to my experience in the conventional healthcare model, it's never been like pro health, it's been like pro sickness. And I think we kind of understand all this, and that's one of the things I think the gold that can come out of this situation is the value of having a strong immune system, because um, you know this virus very may well get to a lot of people, and the people who move through it with the most ease are going to be the people who have the strongest immune system. And really your immune system comes down to the most basic things. Like the supplements are really good, but they're like secondary to like the things that nature gives you already, like breathing, calming yourself down, eating an anti-inflammatory diet, you know, avoiding all the sugars and the toxic fats and the processed and refined foods, moving every day, going and getting sun, natural vitamin D, um, drinking lots of water. Like these are sleeping really, really well. Like these are basic things that at least in my community, I try to get people to focus on more, you know, to do those things even more so they can tune out of some of that other stuff. Just check it every now and then. Just check the news every now and then. It's okay. Understand what's happening, but don't get like over consumed with it. You know, don't be worried about getting the virus and you're sitting there drinking Coke and eating Doritos or something and like not moving and just thinking you're doing something. You're not doing anything. You're
Andre,
arguing on, you know, argue on our Facebook. Like, well,
right.
stop complaining about this person. Like, just live your life. You know.
We interviewed Andre Nagiyama. She's like, if you're eating, you know, if you're eating cupcakes and
Yeah,
donuts and drinking soda, and then you're taking like liposomal vitamin C, like it doesn't work that way.
it's not gonna work.
You need to remove the things that are inflaming you first
Yeah,
off. And, you know, and if you want a little extra support, take some supplements. Supplements are
yeah,
exactly what their name implies. They are supplementing your diet and your lifestyle. They're supplements to everything else. But take care of the basics first: sleep, eating, uh, eating anti-inflammatory foods, drinking a lot of water, going on walks, moving. Like,
yeah.
thank you so much. And even just like having you pop up in my feed with just like little reminders, like, yo, go do that.
Yeah,
That's a great idea. I'm gonna do that.
yeah,
Thanks, man.
yeah. And it's also a good time to like turn off the TV and
Yeah,
like maybe pick up a book
yeah.
or maybe a musical instrument or maybe sing a song or maybe phone a friend. Like all these things are like really good way to spend our time, you know?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually tagged you in a post about our sensory diet. I don't know if you had time to read it yet,
Not yet.
but yeah, basically,
Oh, tuning out of some things. Yeah.
yeah, just, you know, our neurology works this way, and our sensory diet demands our attention, and we get to choose what our sensory diet is,
Mm-hmm.
just like we get to choose what our actual diet is.
Mm-hmm.
To a large degree, that's completely within our control.
Yep. Yep.
So, Chad, where can people find you?
Well, you can go to, you know, if you want to kind of join the community there, just go to NativePath private community in your Facebook search, and then you can like start interacting with the peeps in there, and that's a good way to kind of join in. I don't do too much public Facebook, and you can find our website, but really it's the private community. And if
Mhm.
anybody's watching this, would love to have you in there. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, and I couldn't recommend it more. It's awesome. Chad's awesome. So much appreciation to you, brother.
All right, thanks, Gavin, man. Have a good one, brother.
You too.
Okay, bye bye.
Adios.